Well, today I'm going to unbag the Battle of Fismes, an OSG introductory game. OSG stands for Operational Studies Group, which is a company formed by Kevin Zucker, which houses primarily the Library of Napoleonic Battles. Now, the Library of Napoleonic Battles originate, at least my understanding is, they originate from Napoleon's Last Battles. This is a decisions game version of it. And I believe it originally was an SPI game at one point. This is a kind of a reprint of Napoleon's Last Battles that used that was kind of the originator of this system. And this system has been taken by Kevin Zucker, who was the designer of that game, and put into the Library of Napoleonic Battles. It's been changed somewhat and expanded upon. And I have a few games from this series. I have this Napoleon's Quagmire, which deals with the Peninsular War in Spain and Portugal, and then Napoleon's Resurgence. And this deals in the June of 1813. These are excellent games, in my opinion. I like the system. I like the maps, the counters. There's a lot of tactical Napoleonic games to choose from. These are tactical to possibly Grand Tactical at times. And this is an introductory game to that system, to the Library of Napoleonic Battles. Now, the Battle of Fismes was not, it's my understanding, it's not a real battle. It's a hypothetical battle that could have taken place in March of 1814. And but the way that this is set up, you do have a full battle that you can play here, and it introduces you to the system and into the rules. The interesting thing about this is there are some stuff that you need to print out and to add to play this game. There's a lot in this bag. Of course, there's no dice in this bag, but there is a website or a link in here that you need to print stuff out, and I've already done that, and I'll get to that once we get inside the bag. So with that, let's get inside the bag here. And I don't know if I'm going to restore it in this bag or use one of my War Game Magazine clear envelopes that I use for them, or if I want to try to put this back in one of the other OSG games that I have, or Library of Napoleonic games that I already have. This really doesn't fit with any of those. This actually is tied to, I think, one of the games in that series, and the games in that series. What the Library of Napoleonic Battles tends to do is, put several battles in a box. So like there's several in here. This lists 4. But there's actually, some pre-battles and some post-battles. And so in any given box, there's more than the listed battles. There might be, 3, 4 other battles possibly in the box. So with this, you get this kind of introductory sheet. That's just kind of a face page there. You get telling you what you need to download, this is part of the Napoleon Retreat. So if you wanted to get a box version ahead of their battles, this could fit right in there with Napoleon Retreats, I believe. It also tells you to make sure you download the additional materials, all this stuff, which I have, and I'll show you what I've done there, and tells a little bit about it here. So a little intro from Kevin Zucker himself. You get counters here. And these are typical, I believe these are the same that are in the typical Library of Napoleonic Battles from OSG. Not super thick, but not, just kind of standard thickness there. But very nicely done counters, a lot of information. As tactical Napoleonic games go, this one is not the most complex and is somewhat easy to get into compared to some of the others. There's a lot of complex tactical sims out there. They're double-sided, as you can see here, so you get a full you get a counter sheet for that scenario, so you can play this game. You also get the series rules, which I don't know, we're up to version 7.3 3.5. There are iterations of these rules, and I think each one gets a little bit cleaner, hopefully, and clears up some of the potential errata or inconsistencies as you go on. But here are the rules: dual column, color. You've got your sequence of play. You're going to have stacking, zones of control, standard, concepts for war games. Your leaders and command. Now this era, has with a lot of eras, but especially this era, command is very important, and leadership. And there's a whole set of rules on how you effectuate command and command range and initiative checks and the like. There's movement, hidden forces, repulse, and combat modifiers, terrain, combat results. And then here's your shock table, retreats, advance after combat. These are all standard concepts in war games. Bombardment, so your artillery, cavalry charges. Now that is something that's going to be this is kind of the last hurrah this period is of huge mounted units being used in as a primary attacking force, and so there's going to be some advanced rules on that, or rules on that you need to get into. Fortified places, vedettes, supply. As I said, you got some supply here. So this, as I said, this game gets closer to the Grand Tactical scale at some points. With the fact that you have some supply and actually, it's quasi operational with the scale that this is at. It kind of lives on that space between operational and Grand Tactical, in that you're dealing with battles at a more tactical level than a full theater operation, but it kind of blurs the line a little bit there. Baggage and pontoon trains, reinforcements, march orders, demoralization, recovery and organization, weather, and then you got a glossary here. So, and then a table of contents. So, all totaled, it looks like we've got 24 pages. So, not that much, right? And that's not a simple game, but definitely not as complex as some other Napoleonic sims that are out there. And it plays in a different space, right? I mean, this it's not so much down to the granular level on a battle as it does play in that Grand Tactical operational type space. So you get a little bit more meat on the bones there. You're going to get your combat tables, and this is a 4-page fold out where you've got your terrain effects, you've got your terrain effects, then you have some of your key charts, mainly for combat and cavalry charge and reconnaissance and stuff like that, road march, and then all your different combat tables between shock, charge, combat results, and bombardment there. So, and it's just regular paper, but it is in color. Then you get some more of these same charts, but this is on a little thicker stock, blue background. Those are basically the same charts that are there, the same combat tables that are there. But you get on the back here, you get some notes on the combat table. So you get some notes on how to read, these combat tables, and the results and the charges and shock and stuff like that. And yeah. Then you get a map that comes with this. And the map is, I like the maps from the Libraries of Napoleonic Battles. I think that they are evocative of the period. You feel like you're looking at something that, maybe Napoleon might have used to plan out his attacks. And you've got, really nice graphics on here. Where's your terrain or your hills or slopes, your towns, your rivers, your wooded areas or the like, or marsh type areas. So all nice there, and it's not a huge map, but good size. Given that it's just one counter sheet, this is probably fits nicely into the scenario there. So what about the stuff that you have to print out? As it said at the beginning there are some things that you have to print out. I printed out this right here, this studies folder, which is, this is the biggest thing you need to print out, which is 20 pages here. And it is, dual column, and just kind of goes over the scenario information and historical design notes. So it's not necessarily, it does have some explanation of some separate rules and stuff, so it's a little bit more detail. This talks about the other battles. These are other battles. I don't necessarily know if you can play all the battles that are listed in here with these components. You might need to have that, what do they call it there? The Napoleon retreats. You might need to have that in order to fully utilize this study folder, but that's something I haven't quite got into that enough yet. But so it asks you to print out that. Then there's this Napoleon retreats. This is, I think, the kind of the update or the errata that goes with that. That goes with that box edition, so it might overlay into some of the rules for this scenario as well. Then you get, this is a classic Library Napoleonic battles, is these setup charts, which look very complicated. They're not too bad once you understand how to do it, but they usually set these up. You have the setup columns based on the scenario, and the scenario might be just listing a date. So sometimes you're hunting and pecking, going through your materials to figure out what scenario am I playing, what was the date on that, and then you go down here and see who was involved in that, who was coming to be reinforcements, and who where they set up at. So this prints out pretty small here, but there's only like 2 pages of that. This is the French setup for those scenarios, and I believe the this scenario I think is in here as well. Then you have the Army of Silesia, so the kind of the allies of sort. You have their setups here as well. And then you have a turn track for this scenario, and I printed it out on a little bit thicker paper, which is kind of consistent with the kind of paper I think they use in in the boxed edition of the Library of Napoleonic battles. So you're going to need this. This is your turn record track to keep track of stuff. And again, I printed out a little bit thicker paper. It gives you a weather conditions chart. Again, I printed this off on a little bit thicker paper. So this tells you the weather conditions and weather effects. And this is really for Napoleon retreats. So again, if you like this introductory game, then you probably want to pick up Napoleon retreats, because I think this fits into that nicely. Then you get your casualty record tracks, and again, all these big charts that might stay on the table along with everything else, I put them on a little bit thicker paper. Combat results table, and how to use that casualty record tracks. And then this is the coalition one, and then this is the French one. And plus you have a combat results table, so I mean each side can kind of have their own chart there. Plus there were some other tables that were included in the bag. So that's these are the things that you're going to need to print out to in addition to buying this introductory game in order to play this game. Not that much of a do-it-yourself type model there, but a little bit of extra stuff that you have to do there. So anyway, that is what you get in the bag of the OSG introductory game, Disrupted River Crossing. So if you're already a big fan or play Library of Napoleonics, the Library of Napoleonic Battles from OSG, then don't know if you really need this unless you're just trying to be a completionist or you already have that Napoleon Retreats. You just want to add that to that. If you're looking to get into a system, looking to get into Napoleonic, Grand Tactical / operational type stuff, and this system or series looks interesting to you, there is a lot in this system and series, so that's a big plus. You're not just getting Waterloo or Leipzig. You're getting access to a lot of different battles over a period of time. So there's a lot of content there. But if you're interested in just seeing how this system plays and seeing if it fits with your the complexity level you want, then this might be a good buy to try it out. It's not a full game purchase. I think I got this on discount. I think I used Hardwolf Laird's 15th anniversary code to get this, I believe. Anyway, that's what I have for you today. This is an interesting system. I like it. I like the maps. I like the counters. I think the system is accessible. It's not overly complex. Again, this is not a simple game, but it's not overly complex for this level of detail that you're trying to get into. Anyway, I'd love to know your thoughts on this. If anybody has tried this, likes it. I've seen that there's been a couple, I think Hex to Hex did a video on this. I think there's might have been some other videos on this specific packet here. But love to know your thoughts on it, or your thoughts in general on the library Napoleonic battles, or anything else from Mr. Zucker. He's done quite a bunch of other things as well. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. Always appreciate it. Drop a comment to let me know you stopped by and what you think about any of this stuff. Love to hear from you, and have a great one. Thanks for watching.